Hello everybody, and this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you some more 1v1 action on this Bronze to Masters series. Now, after getting placed into Platinum, things have actually gotten off to a rocky start. Unfortunately, the videos that I recorded for the first 3 games that I played, for some odd reason they didn't come out very well, so I'm having to redo them, unfortunately. This first game is going to be a PvT. When I got into the game, I noticed that it appeared that I was playing a Masters League player, so I was a little hesitant, especially with it being my first game in 1v1, you know, just out of placement. I was a little skeptical of playing a Masters player, especially being like the first game of the day. So I'm just gonna kind of walk through my build and kind of what happened, what I did and what I could have done better. Obviously, my mechanics are still a little bit shaky, so I'm still working on kind of the basic fundamentals, making sure I don't get pylon blocked and things of that nature. So I sent out my probe scout and I notice I don't see anybody in bottom, so I send him over to the right. Now, originally my thought process was I was going to go a 1 gate into a Stargate into 2 more gates after that, and then the second assimilator probably would have come down after my cybernetics core had started. And then try to do kind of an oracle opening, but I'm still kind of learning that build. So, anyways, so I scouted down here at the bottom, didn't see anything. Let's go ahead and just put it on my vision, just so I can show what I see. So I put my 3 workers in. I see the scout, and you know, I kind of like, well, okay, no big deal. And then, lo and behold, I'm down here. My probe is walking in. I notice an expansion and a marine. Now, so I'm sitting here like, first of all, did he see my probe? Because I don't think he saw my probe. Because I kind of figured the marine would kind of pop back up. So I'm like, well, we're going to change of plans and see if this guy can deal with some, you know, kind of cheese play 4-gate, see what happens. This, so, in all honesty, never happens. Like, ever. If this happens, especially in Platinum and above, you're just darn lucky. And it may or may not be actually an easy win. So we see the a really early expansion, so we immediately know that he's probably going to be putting down a bunker, and once that gets up, he's probably going to be putting on some extra barracks. Because that's just kind of the typical build. It's either a 1 racks or a 2 rack CC. So he comes in and sees this, and he only sees one gateway, and at this point I'm just like, well, I'll get down my second gas, and I'll go ahead and plop down my extra gateways. So at this point, it's just a matter of timing. I see that he's blocked my natural, so I'm like, well, yeah, I might as well kind of go for an all-in. He's a Masters League. That'd be awesome if I could beat a Masters League. So I continue to build up. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because this game is actually pretty close to getting underway as far as battles commencing. So I get my warp gates up, and I start by warping in 2 units back here, and then 2 units at the front. So this could have gone a lot better than it did. So I send in these units, and I didn't bother to do anything, and then I also kind of push at the front, so he would kind of have to choose between what to focus. So first of all, I took out a lot of stuff with this. It was definitely a fair amount of damage, But what it all really boiled down to was, now I want to pause because I didn't see when I was in the game. So he still has a handful of workers down here, and I kind of assumed that these workers was it. Like, there was nothing else behind this. So that was one bad mistake that I made. So he comes down, takes out the pylon. He still has a fairly big army, but as far as, like, you know, who's ahead, who's behind, I don't know. Let's take a look at the units tab. So units tab, I'm way ahead of him in workers, and I know that he's going to be pushing, because there it is. So I immediately warp into sentries. Now, first of all, I actually have correct number of probes in there. So yeah, so I warp in 2 sentries. I see him come up. I force field the ramp because I don't want him in my base. I have these 5 stalkers here, which it's okay, but it's really how I use this. Now I kind of knew he was going to come in with a scan, so I quickly force fielded the ramp and hurried up. And at that point, what really needed to happen is when he threw down that scan, I really needed to warp in another sentry to hold this ramp, because not having this ramp blocked off pretty much lost me the game, because he walked in and it was no big deal. He is way ahead of me unit wise, just because, you know, I took out a lot of probes and stuff, but I didn't touch his army, which is obviously never never a good thing. So basically this kind of all boils down to, you know, I didn't have enough. Now I should have pulled my probes a heck of a lot earlier, and probably planted down a pylon to try and do something about it. And at this point he just kind of whittles down my probe count, and unfortunately I'm left with 2 stalkers. I can warp in 1 more, and I have a fair amount of stuff. It's just, he's just got more stuff than me. I mean, it's going to take an insane amount of micro that's going to deal with this. I have 1 probe left, but it's really kind of, I give him the top of my ramp. So basically all he has to do, see, I send 1 in to try and like pick off these really low health Marines, and he's just like, well, I'm going to leave a handful of Marines right here, and I'm going to send the rest of them to attack the base. So unfortunately, game number 1 of this session didn't go out very well. So I think I'm not going to go any further, and so I hope you enjoyed the analysis of this game. I know it wasn't much. Basically, the takeaways from this is when you get into the position where you kind of have a small advantage, you have to exploit that advantage with caution. Now, one thing that I could have done that I didn't think about when I was playing, when I warped in down here, gotta hit play. When I warped in my first set of units, had I warped in a single sentry up here, this would have gone 100% differently. Because basically all I need to do is I take that 1 sentry, I send him down here, I force field this ramp. That gives me 100% free reign down here. See, I have enough gas, so you take away two of these stalkers, make them sentries, and then I have 3 sentries. I can force field this ramp all day long. He can't do a single thing about it, and all I have to do is keep the sentries back here and force field. That gives me free reign of more or less taking out the entirety of his base. Granted, that does leave me completely open for a counterattack, but hopefully by that time I can, you know, warp in at least 1 sentry here and keep the ramp held for a little while. So I hope you enjoyed the analysis, and I hope to see you in game. Let's see, I think it's number 10. 9 or 10 or 11, I don't know. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to like or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next game.